So it's the last page that the chant for the chapter occurs, right?
Did I get you a 4?
Is it page 50?
You did chapter 4?
Do it. You here for that.
I think you handed that out last week.
I did, and I can handle this. I'm sorry, I will do it.
Maybe
I think I gave you a spare if you have it, but otherwise I'm gonna.
Let's see.
I can't print one. Very doable.
Yeah, here.
Really?
Take.
Oh, that's marvelous.
Because I have this over here. 3TO.
What is it? Starts. It's 41 to 50.
41, I think.
Yeah.
4.
Is it true?
Let's say 4.
41 to 50.
Okay, there's 40. Okay. I kind of
curious.
mixed up here. Okay, there's 50.
Yeah.
41.
I'm feeling from the bottom of the deck.
43. This is 44. 45.
We won't get to 50 today, are we?
Sure, but you should have your copy. You deserve it.
There we go.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So on page 50 then, on what you have. So we'll belt out this refrain, really, especially the first part. Ready? Om Tat Sati Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sanvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga Nama Chaturtho Adhyaya. Okay, we have the 4th chapter, which is the depositing of knowledge and karma, or it could be the depositing of karma in knowledge. Both are possible. So we had that very memorable verses last time for the beginning of the Avatada doctrine of where after Arjuna has said, how can you have taught this to these Manu and Vivashvan and so on? And he says, I remember my previous births. You've had a lot of previous births too, but you don't know them. And then we had, even though I'm unborn in 6, right? I am the Lord of beings, and we had a long discussion of in Sikdhan, I come to be through my Atma Maya, and then there was a lot of discussion of Maya, and yeah. Let's not get into it again.
How did you come down on it? How did you come, what was the...
The gist of it is, Guru Deva over here, he wants to take it in the sense of like a sensory illusion, like when you see a mirage or you see a rope as a snake. And by the way, a rope as a snake, you can still have real emotions, fear and so on. And a mirage, you can walk towards it to get water. But there's another, let's call it tantric and also realist interpretation of Maya that takes it from the root ma, which means to measure or to make finite. I've used the word delimit, but Guru Deva doesn't like that word at all. He says I should just use the word limit or individualize. So individualization, according to some faction, is not the highest reality. And in fact, we could call it an illusion. Others say the highest reality is capable of self-limiting itself, self-individualizing. So that's what its power, it's a power of individualization, not an illusion. And so we had quite an exchange on that, and of course, he's so sharp he won, but I'm holding on to my self-delimitation view, despite the onslaught so anyway, we had that one, and then we moved on where yada yada hidharmasya glanir bhavati, the very quoted verses. Whenever there is a diminution, a falling away of dharma, and rising up of adharma, srijamyaham, and this, the word for create in Sanskrit is it's shrij, which is the same word, and shrishta, past passive participle, is creation, that which is, and it's literally that which has been emitted. The same word is used for a spider that spins its web out of its own body. So we have a view of emanation, right? It's not creation ex nihilo or some sky father fashioning, but I loose myself forward for the raising up of good people, sadhus, and the destruction of evildoers, and this reestablished dharma. I come to be in age after age. And then we had I think someone made a quip, well, you know, we need, why don't we have an Avadana now? Right. And we have someone running for president named Lotus. Yeah. Kamala, that's lotus, right? Right. That's the word for lotus. Right. Don't say Kamala, say Kamala. And they also say Kamala. Make them say Kamala. Anyway, okay, so that brings us up to date.
She rises from the mud, but is not blemished by it.
That's right. It comes out of the. That's exactly right. And it's an image that you get all the time, and as you know, the lotus centers. And it does. That's right. Mudborn. That's a common word for lotus, rising out of the mud. So beautiful. Yeah, that's a great image. Sort of. You know, the transformation of mud into the most beautiful, that's sort of like the meaning of life.
Especially in India, where there are so many open latrines with lotuses literally rising from them.
And there's a kind of battle of smells.
True story.
Okay, I'm sorry, you didn't have to bring that up.
Right. Well, there's,
like, how do I wipe that one?
Come on, let's have some incense. So we have some incense for that.
yes, if we can elect Kamala to this country, then I think it's an apt metaphor.
Okay, so we're at number 9, and
did we do 8?
Are we going to do 8?
I don't know.
Are we going to do 8? Okay, 8 pranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. See, 8 goes with 7. The thought is continued, right? Okay. You know, Srijamyaham, Srijami in the end of 7. That's, you know, I emit myself, I create, I loose myself forth. Maybe is a good translation. I loose what's atmanam. I loose myself forth. And why? You get the dative, paritranaya, for the raising up or protection, sadhunam, generative plural. Anyway, this is number 8. Do you want to take number 8?
Well, I didn't prepare 8. I did prepare 9.
Okay, well, let me take 8. So for the protection of good people, sadhus, you all know that, right? Sadhu is a common name for a spiritual seeker in India, sadhu. This is genitive plural, sadhunam. Vinashaya, that's another dative, and then followed by another genitive, dushkritam, people who are do bad things and misbehave. Dharma samstapanarthaya, for the purpose of reestablishing Dharma. I come to be, sambhavami, yuge, and age after age. Age after age.
Cool.
That's number 8, yuge.
It's 4A, this says, oh, I was getting,
Yeah.
Okay,
I was on the wrong page, sorry.
so good.
I was like, no wonder I can't figure it out.
Deva.
Janma karma cha me divyam evam yah.
Yo,
Oh, yo. Oh, it is yo. It's not yah.
yo.
Okay, yo. Va iti. No, it's
Veti.
veti. It is veti. Sorry. Tatvata.
Tattva.
Tyaktva deham punar janma na iti.
Na 80, good. Na 80, that breaking the sandhi, na 80. Actually, that's a little complicated because it's na, and then the root is actually e with an a upasarga. A plus e equals a plus na plus a equals nai. So that's why you get 90. So it's na, a, e. The verb is actually iti.
So it. Oh, not iti.
Yeah,
So
na.
it's not 18, not iti.
80 is because it has the upasarga, the verbal prefix a.
Okay.
A plus e equals a.
Okay.
And then the na makes it I. So it goes through to the na plus 80 means 90.
Oh, sure. Okay. Mama or mama.
Mom 80.
Mom. Yeah, mom 80. Sah. Arjuna.
So Arjuna.
So I guess Arjuna. I have like I have not left my
So what's the subject of the first line?
Me?
No, it's
him,
yo.
Yo.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Yeah becomes
one
yo.
who.
Yeah
Okay.
becomes yo.
Okay.
So who?
Okay, the one who
Who?
sees.
Who? The one who Veti knows.
The one who knows or sees the.
And then we have these
Thus.
accusatives.
The
And
one who sees
divyam
that.
is an adjective modifying janma and karma are both accusative singular. So the one who knows my, may,
My
divyam janma, divyam
divine birth,
karma,
divine action, or
my
like,
divine birth
yeah.
and my divine action, tatvataha,
thusly knowing it that way as they are.
as they are, good. The ta suffix is adverbial, means that tattva is like a fact, as they are, you're right, as they are.
Yeah, they that one doesn't
Chakcha is a participle.
leave behind, to
Leaving, right?
Yeah, they
Abandoning,
leave
leaving
their
behind
they have their body.
the body.
Yeah, or I guess they having left their body behind. Right, they don't take birth again.
Na 80, they don't go to Punarjanma, another birth.
Another birth.
They go to me.
Yeah, they come to me. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
The one who knows my divinity and my actions as they are.
Actually, it's my divyam is an adjective modifying both
My divine
Janma, my divine birth, and Cha is and my divine action.
Mm-hmm.
When they leave their body behind, they don't have another birth, they come to me.
They come to me.
Got it.
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever that means exactly.
So, so Kendra, did you prepare 10?
I can read it. I'll read it. I didn't prepare
Okay.
it. But let's see. Vita,
Vita,
Raga,
Raga,
Long A?
long A, Raga,
Okay. Okay. So Vita, Raga, Baya, Kroda, Manmaya, Mam, Upashrita, Bhavavo, Jnanatapassa,
perfect.
Bhuta, Bhavam,
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 and then Agata.
Agata,
So that's a Sunday there. Mud Bhavam, Agata.
Bhavam.
Oh, very good.
Free of desire.
So this is the Vita Raga Baya Kroda. That's a long Bahuvrihi compound. That's a compound. Remember, the Bahuvrihi compound is one where it's really an adjective. So what it's talking about is something outside the compound.
Mm-hmm. The one
So
who is.
it's those whose raga,
Mm-hmm.
passion, baya, fear,
Fear,
kroda, anger, are vita, gone,
gone.
banished.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's not naming the people. It's like long ears, the one who has long ears.
Mm-hmm.
You say, oh, long ears.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Uh-huh.
All right, this is Vita Raga Kro, Baya Kroda. Those who are like this.
Uh-huh.
Upashrita, mom. That's a past passive participle. Upashrita, ashrita means resorted to,
Oh.
taking their place in ashraya, like an ashram, ashram,
Ashram.
or ashrita, and then upa has the sense of near, so it means that they're sort of come home or something like that. Upashrita, and come home to me, mom, or resorting to me.
Yeah.
Manmaya, I don't know what manmaya is.
Manmaya.
That really, I meant to look that up.
Oh.
Like manas?
I'm sorry.
Is it related
Manmaya.
to mind?
Maya means
Yeah.
by me.
Like thinking?
Oh, yeah, I guess I took it as, well, mun as in, manas, like thinking of
Mun,
me.
yeah, maybe
like
it's-
by thinking of
Oh,
me.
thinking. But by me? I don't get it. Manmaya. Let me see.
Well, or by thinking of me, because it's mun maya, it's not by, I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Maya. Oh yeah, by me thinking.
By right.
Oh, by me. Ah,
They're
okay.
thinking of me.
Okay, good.
Their passion,
Manmaya.
anger, fear,
Okay.
because they're coming to me,
Mm.
they will disappear.
But
Is that
by me
kind of it?
thinking.
or no?
Thinking. You would think it'd be thinking about me or something like that.
Like, yeah, maybe.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Well, is it saying that when they think of me,
Uh-huh.
they're coming home to me,
Uh-huh.
then they will be those whose passion, fear, and anger will disappear.
Okay.
Is that,
Oh, okay.
does that make sense or not?
Yes, ma'am. It does. Let me just see what he says.
Oh, wait,
Because it seems like that's what he's talking about here, is this is how you're gonna get there,
Right.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
You are gonna understand that I'm divine birth and I'm my divine actions, and you're gonna think about that, and then that way you don't have to have another birth. you can be free.
I guess,
Maybe not.
Oh, you know what? He has a different reading.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have Manmaya? He
Mud-
has
Maya.
he has mud. He has. Oh yeah, he has Manmaya.
No,
So
they're,
he does
they're
have
both here.
Manmaya.
There's also,
Oh, Maya.
Sergeant takes it as a,
Manmaya. Okay.
as nominative.
He said absorbed. In
Right,
me.
one absorbed in me.
Yeah, he says
Absorbed in
absorbed in me.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
But that's Mamupashita. Oh, Manmaya means, oh no, taking refuge absorbed in it. No, Manmaya is absorbed in it. I don't see how they get that though. I'm sorry. Magna. There's a root, magna. I don't think that's it though.
We have a dictionary.
It could be that. Magna. I wanted to write a novel where the pseudonym for the author would be Davy, right? D-A-V-Y, but also Davy, D-E-V-I.
Davy Crockett.
Davy Muggen.
Muggen.
Like a tough guy, Davy Muggen. Doesn't that sound like?
Yes,
But in
yes.
Sanskrit, that means absorbed in the goddess.
Oh, that's nice.
And maybe that's what it is
This doesn't even come up. Manmaya.
on Manmaya. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I don't even get it in a dictionary, which is fine.
What about
Okay.
the second line, 10?
Vida
Did we get all
Ragavaya
those?
Krodha. Okay, oh yeah, the second line is Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavam Agata. So, tapas, everyone knows tapas, right? And from the Yoga Sutra, tapas is asceticism, right? So, by means of jnana, knowledge, and tapas, or it could be by the tapas of knowledge. And also,
Yeah.
tapas is literally heat.
Yeah.
Tapas,
Right.
heat. The heat of yoga practice is tapas. And tapasya is a word, an abstract word made from tapas that's a synonym for yoga in many texts, just a synonym.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, I bet, uses tapasya as a synonym for yoga.
Yeah.
Puta means purified.
Well, that makes sense.
Puta. You don't have that?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay, puta.
Not what it means in Spanish, just.
He had such a wrinkled, he had such a wrinkled brow that I thought he was looking something else. But
No, that's what I've got.
no. So purified, many purified by the tapas, the heat or tapas of knowledge, have come to my state, my being.
Oh.
Agata, like swagatam, agata, agatam, swagatam means welcome. Agata, that means having come to madbhavam, my state, my consciousness. And then the next one is one of the most, it's probably the most quoted verse of the whole Gita, at least in some circles.
Oh, yeah.
Ye yata mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvasha. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. See, this bhajamyaham is quite nice because it's the same, it's the root that bhakti comes from. So it's not, it's got this love connotation at least. So I've heard it nicely translated as yata, yet as they approach me, prapadyante mam, tam stataiva, in that way. So yata tata, they often have these parallel constructions, yata tata, you know, as so as such and such, so as they approach me, so I receive them to my love. In that way alone, tata eva, I receive them to my love. Mama vartmanu anuvartante. Human beings, manusya, follow a path that is mine in every way. This is picked up by the tantrics. The tantrics don't like all of the Gita, but they love this verse because in Kaurava Tantra and a lot of the tantras, they're inclusivistic. They say, you know, some paths are for people, they can't, you know, that's all they can do is, they can't do handstand. Maybe they can't, you know, they can't even do headstand. They can only do maybe legs up the wall or something, right? But they're all following you. And the tantrics will say everyone's on the path of Shiva. You can't get off of it. And as they approach me, so I receive them. So, this is inclusivistic in that I can be Vishnu or Rama or Krishna or Shiva or Parvati or Saraswati or Kali or
God forbid even Jesus.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Some people have
Muhammad.
had a hard time with this verse. In one of our teacher trainings, somebody was like, it sounds all culty and it sounds like all strange and
Why?
I don't know why they thought that about this verse. I love it. I think this verse sounds very sweet and nice.
it's very inclusivistic.
Yeah. I don't know why they had a hard time with this one.
Well, I read it, because I was reading over this before I came to class, I read it as they come to me, as they approach me, that's the way that I receive them. So in other words, if you're coming to me with your whole heart, then I will receive you that way.
That's right.
If you're coming to me like, well, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
kind of stick my toe in, that's how I'll receive you.
Yeah, also
I took it that
if
way.
you're a thief or a murderer or
Right.
something like that, I'm sorry. I'm going to treat you like a thief and a
But I'm still
murderer.
gonna receive you, but I'm gonna receive you as a thief or a liar.
Right,
or
yeah,
whatever you
right.
are. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
So I kinda saw it that
so
way.
it's got
It's got multiple.
it's pretty broad.
It is. I like it though. It's
There we go.
Yeah, okay. But also when he says, right, everywhere, right? Sarvasa.
That's why the tantrics like this, because they'll say things like in the Kalarnava Tantra it says, you know, even when you fall from the path,
Yeah.
that's just material for greater art, greater
And,
beauty.
yeah. And he says then even that you are on my path.
Yeah,
Right?
Even your
even,
prayers.
yeah, you can't
Yeah.
get off.
Yeah, you're still on my path.
You're still on my path.
That's nice. Okay. See you soon.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, yes, thank you. That was a great class we had today. I survived.
Your tapas.
Tapas, yes, lots of heat.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So where we are, Sarvasha.
12.
So we're 12. So you guys are gonna. Okay, she's going. Okay. We're going counterclockwise or clockwise?
Okay.
Okay.
Is it, do you say the K like a K?
So it's 12, right?
Kashanta.
Kangshanta.
Karmanam,
Good.
Siddhyam,
Siddhim.
Yajanta,
Yajanta.
Iha,
Iha.
Devata,
Devata.
Kshipram,
Kshipram. Pram.
don't do the beginning again.
Kshipram.
Kshipram,
That's K with a sh. Kshipram. Kshipram.
Kshipram, He, Manushe, Loke,
Loke. Manushe Loke.
Siddhir,
Siddhir.
Bhavati,
Bhavati.
Bhavati,
Bhavati. It's short. Bhavati.
Karmaja.
Karmaja. Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. Devata. Kangshanta Karmana Siddhim. Devata. Shiprani Manishi.
City is when, who knows, right?
Okay, this again is drawing on that vocabulary of the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Siddhi, you know, right?
Achievement. attainment.
Perfection.
Perfection.
Could be.
Perfection for Siddhi. I
Uh-huh.
think.
Can also just mean an outcome, an achieved end.
But it has it has very positive, you know, like the siddhis of yoga, the 8
Sure.
siddhis,
Yeah.
right?
Achievement.
It's achievement.
Right.
It's something.
Right.
Okay, so those desiring, kangshanta is a present participle. And what are they desiring? The accusative singular siddhi, the perfection of works.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Works of
The karma nam is genitive plural.
Sure.
So it's desiring, and then that's got to have an object. The object, the accusative singular, is siddhi. So a desiring perfection of works, they sacrifice here in this world to the divinities. Now the divinities, there's a lot of, what are the divinities? Well, even Shankara takes the divinities to be occult forces. Usually, like Saraswati, Kali, and so on, that operate through your nadis and chakric centers.
Yeah. So it sounds more like almost asking for a boon, right?
Yeah.
Right, when like siddhi here seems like you, almost like phala, I mean, almost like you're looking for
Yeah, but Yajanta has that idea of giving something, though, right? You're still offering, right? I mean,
yes, sure.
you're offering to these, the forces of higher consciousness.
Right.
In the Buddhist system, I would think it would be to the bodhisattvas.
Right.
And to the
Right.
various dakanis.
I guess I just mean that, like, rather than just trying to perfect the act.
No, yeah, right.
Right,
You're not
you're-
trying to perfect the act. You're
Right.
calling on some higher power
right, and
or power.
you're trying to get the siddhi from them.
That's right.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Absolutely right. Right.
So this has nothing to do with
Right.
fire ceremony.
It could have to do with a fire ceremony. If you're making a fire ceremony and asking, deities for something, then you're doing it. It sounds self-interested.
But remember earlier we had all that denigration of the
All the
traditional
rituals, the
sacrifices. That's why I think
It's more
maybe,
internal.
it's something occult.
Okay.
Offering to these forces. And then the next line is locative singular, manushe, that's a human, loke, that's locative singular, manushe is an adjective modifying loke. So in the for, he is conjunctive for, because in this human world, quickly, kshipram, that's an adverb, kshipram siddhi, that's the subject of the sentence. Siddhi comes to be quickly. How does it come to be quickly? Born of karma. Their karma means, I think, karma yoga. Born of karma in the sense of sacrifice.
Okay. Yeah. Karma almost like ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Except maybe not the outward old ritual, but the new inner ritual, because they're going to say, he's going to say many times here, you know, some yogis offer the in-breath to the out-breath, or this, I don't know, Abhinavagupta takes it.
Yeah.
Everything is really a kind of ritual offering to Bhairava Bhairavi who lives in your core.
But he's not denying here that doing Vedic rituals
I think
yields
he
a
did,
result.
but he did deny it earlier, remember? In chapter 2 and 3, he talked about how bad they knew nothing. These Veda mongers that kept, you know, they just want to get to heaven and so on. In that context, it seems like you're forced to take this in a metaphorical way.
In that context, but in this context, it seems like he's saying, look, all of the different modes of worship, I accept them. So now in that very next breath, he's going to say, but not those guys who make fire offerings. I don't care if you go to church on Sunday, that's fine. But if you make fire offerings, nah.
Well, yeah, okay, maybe, but don't you think it has to do with the immediate context of encouraging Arjuna to go out and fight, but to do it as a offering?
I would assume, yeah, of course.
That
of course.
seems to be the bigger
Yeah, of course.
context.
Yeah, right. But it's not like, it's also not a very apt metaphor to say it's like the reward, you know, your offering of action, right, is like the offering into the fire, right, in that it gives you the righteous reward as does this. It's not a very apt metaphor if he's denigrating the first one completely.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know, but it seems like he's saying, look, those guys who doing fire offerings and they're offering to all sorts of crazy Vedic gods, I'm the one hooking them up.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think,
I'm
but
the common denominator.
Yeah,
Exactly,
right.
that's
They
what he
think
said.
they're offering to all these different wacky gods. That's fine. It's all
It's about me.
when they
It's
do
all
that.
about me.
When they offer to to
Yeah.
God with 17 arms and a a blue outfit, I give them the thing that they were doing the offering for.
He
yes.
certainly says to give
Quickly.
offering to
But he
the
has this
divinities.
larger view where
Yes.
just about any action done in the right spirit
Yeah.
can be karma yoga.
Yeah.
And after all, we're in the middle of a battlefield, and there's, it seems like, the fire sacrifice or someone would be pretty remote. Except that he did,
Yeah.
he wanted to introduce a new doctrine when he was knocking the Veda mongers back in, I think it was chapter 2.
Yeah.
So I think,
It's not unlike Jesus when he was
Yeah.
against the Pharisees.
Very
Sure.
much so.
Sure.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
really about what's going on inside here, not about your trappings out there.
yeah. Also, the fire, you have to pay the priest.
Yeah.
It's expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, because everybody couldn't do that, right?
Not everybody can do
Everybody
that. But
Everybody
everybody
couldn't
can do
afford
it.
to do all of that.
That's
stuff.
right,
You
nobody-
had to be a king or somebody that was rich
That's
or whatever.
right, that's
to get all
right.
this
In fact,
people
they
to do
did it-
But he's saying this is for everybody.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the Katha Upanishad, which has several verses that are repeated verbatim in the Gita. The Katha Upanishad starts out with Nachiketas as a central figure. His father is doing this elaborate sacrifice. He's giving everything to the Brahmins.
Yes.
And Nachiketas gets pissed off. It's the son. He says, to whom are you going to give me? You're giving everything away. To whom will you give to me? And he keeps repeating it. And his father says, go to hell. And so Nachiketas, being a dutiful son, goes to hell. Goes to hell and sits on the door and goes to, and so it's, you know, it's making fun of that, right? Goes to hell, sits on the doorstep of Yama, the Lord of Death, the Grim Reaper, for 3 days, and then Yama reveals to Nachiketas, not to the father, I don't know, the true fire, the true sacrificial fire. It's not the external fire.
Exactly.
It's
And
the
I think
fire
that's what he's
inside
saying.
your
I
heart.
think that's what he's
That,
trying to say.
so I think the Gita is aware of the Katha Upanishad. After all, several, like I say, several verses are quoted.
Right.
Uh-huh.
That's a good assumption then.
Uh-huh. 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 Yeah.
And I just love that joke. I mean, you think that he's a serious Upanishad, and suddenly you see the father telling the son, go to hell. And then it says, being a dutiful son, he goes to hell.
It just disappeared.
Yeah, because, oh, no, in a yogic trance, he goes to hell. Oh, he gets into a yogic trance and goes to the underworld and sits on the doorstep of Yama.
Is the meaning of karma, right?
Has 4 or 5 meanings.
Yeah, right, of course, right? And then on one level we could say these are different or distinct meanings, but on another level we could say that the differences between them are evolved from one another to some extent.
Yeah, they definitely connect.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, right. So like, would you say, especially the main two that we're talking about in this context, right?
Mhm.
Which is action,
Right.
right? Or ritual.
Okay.
At this moment, in this
Okay,
verse, right?
right.
Or in this discussion.
Right.
Would you say that one obviously occurs earlier? Like in the Vedic context, does karma, is the meaning of karma more broadly as action one that comes along later, or
Okay.
is there one that happens earlier?
There were 3 Vedas and then 4
Yeah.
Vedas, right?
Yeah.
Now, the Veda that has the poetry in it is called the Rig Veda.
Right.
And the Rig Veda has 10 books, and each book has 100 to 150 hymns or poems. And some of them are long. Some of them are, 5 stanzas, but some of them are 40 stanzas. So the Rig Veda is a thick, and it was memorized and so on. Now the Rig Veda doesn't say anything about ritual or karma or anything. It covers, I mean, it might in some of them, but it covers all kinds of topics. It covers, and the feature that seems to unite the Rig Veda is the beautiful poetry.
Uh-huh.
I mean, some of it, is the Soma experience when they take Soma, but there's a hymn in the Rig Veda to frogs, the beautiful frogs, and their voices. There's one that says, "Oh dog, belonging to my girlfriend's father, please don't bark as I jump over the wall to her house at 2 a.m. And so let me get in and out." And so the Rig Veda has all this sort of motley and very beautiful. Some of the gods are worshipped, but sometimes very, ordinary kind of experiences in the Rig Veda. Classical Sanskritists don't read the Veda because it's like reading Beowulf.
Uh-huh.
It's in an archaic Sanskrit. Then there are the second and the third, the Samaveda and the Yajurveda, and in those parts you get specifications for rituals that where one priest cites verses of the Rig Veda, but the instructions are not in the Rig Veda. That's where the verses that are cited by the priest in the rituals that are specified in these other Vedas. In particular, the part of those Vedas called the Brahmanas, which is really a sort of second level of literature. And I just don't know much about it more than what I've told you.
Okay.
But I do know I had to take a full year course on the Rig Veda when I was in graduate school. But I have never read any of the other Vedas except the Atharva Veda it has some beautiful earth mother. There's a hymn to the earth mother in the Yajurveda, in the Atharva Veda, but I'm not so sure about the Saman and the other ones. In any case, the rituals are specified in other parts of the Veda.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know how we got off on this.
Oh, I was kind of asking if one of those two meanings of
Or in the Rig Veda itself,
was
no, but
more
it
like
are
preliminary.
in other parts of the Veda.
And what would one of those two meanings have preceded the other? Is what I'm kind of asking, right? Like, did it mean ritual and then it meant action, or did it mean action and then it meant ritual, or are they just side by side and
Put it this way.
Yeah.
In English, our abstract words come from French and Latin.
Yeah.
And in Sanskrit, they don't have another language like that. They just have certain roots, verbal roots.
Right.
And the root Kri is one of the most common roots.
Yeah.
And so who can say Kri means to do or to make?
Right. Good.
Very common, karoti. Karma is a derivative of the root Kri, to do or to make.
We
So, gosh, I
think
don't
that
know,
would
you
be
take an
first.
Indo-Europeanist, to know what sense of that word, to do or to make, karma, I would think that just plain old action is the oldest sense.
Right.
Because Kri just means to do or to make, and it continues in the classical Sanskrit like that.
Yeah.
But at what point does it come to mean ritual?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because it seems in this
I don't know.
Verse, it's important that it means both. Like, and in the context that it's being discussed.
Yeah, I don't think you could get across the idea of karma yoga as sort of like the ritualization of ordinary action.
Right. Like
To make it an offering, and you have to sort of ritualize it.
we could argue about which one he's talking about at any given moment, but the
Right.
point is that the word means both, and that's what makes this discussion
Right.
fruitful to someone who hears that word both ways and knows that it's
Right.
you would say a double entendre, right?
Right.
I guess.
So I'm sorry I couldn't answer you.
No, it's okay. Yeah, of course, hard to say. Yeah, it's still
It's both and.
a valuable digression in any case. To me, it was
So
I can read it, but I can't quite, I'll start doing that.
okay,
Chaturvarnyam
good.
Maya
Maya,
Shritam
Shrishtam,
Shrishtam Guna Karma
Vibhagasha,
Vibhagasha Tasya Kartaramapi
the doer is kartri, so kartaram is accusative singer, so the sandhi is kartaram api.
Oh, kartaram api. Okay. Mom. Vidya kartaram.
Vidhi, again a sandhi, vidhi, the e becomes ya. Vidhi akartaram. So there's a hidden in there. Vidhi akartaram
Vivyam.
avyayam.
Avivyam. Okay.
Vidhi akartaram, and then the ma absorbs the so it's kartaram avyayam.
Vidya kartaram avivyam.
Wow.
Okay, so by me, created, shishtam again, emitted, is the system of the 4 castes.
Yeah.
Guna, karma, vibhagasha, according to divisions of property, guna, and karma, action. Know me, vidhi, accusative, imperative, to which takes an accusative, mam, you know me as the maker, doer, kartaram. That's the same verbal root, kri, kartaram, that the maker or doer of that. Who is also, api is also, who is also a non-doer, akartaram. So we have 2 words, right? The same word twice, but once with a and once without. Kartaram, the doer, but also akartaram. I am the non-doer, the inactive, avyayam, imperishable. Now, some people find objectionable the first line because it seems to uphold the caste system. But it doesn't have to be read that way, because whatever emerges, Krishna is responsible for. So it's not like it's forever. The caste system, I don't know, McDonald's, Burger King, all those things have been emitted by me, right? It's not just, during this time it was the caste system. That was it. But later on, we get Burger King. And
not the same thing.
Okay. But yeah, but this way, but taking it that way, there's something called Hindutva. I don't know. I find
Like a nationalistic.
it's nationalistic, and it's very objectionable in my view. But so they would take this as an upholding of the caste system, whereas I don't know. The Buddhists seem to me to have the right idea to get rid of caste. All the reformers seem to get rid of caste.
But what in the context of this?
Yeah.
In the context of this,
Right.
maybe he was trying to uphold the caste system. Whether or not it's objectionable to us, whether or not in today's time we look at that and go, "Wow, that's really whack."
If he's trying to uphold the caste system, then down with Krishna. I'm sorry. The caste system is so terrible.
If you talk about the caste, like, we have class.
Yeah, we have class,
It's
right?
not like, it may not be as overt,
Right.
but like class mobility, while it's the American dream, it's so rare that it's almost mythological. It's like a I don't know, a fruit that we hang out in front of people. But like, generally speaking, there's not a lot of class mobility. People tend to stay in the class that they're born into, and whether that's caste by color of skin or by, but there's something that happens like by, and what I understand him just saying is like your station, in this case your caste, like what you're born into, I created the mechanism by which your karma and your whatever propensities will force you to take birth in one of these stations.
Yeah,
And then,
that's right. Guna karma vibhagasha.
and by the way, I don't really do it. I created the mechanism, you see, but I created a mechanism by which it happens by your guna and karma.
Karma,
So I'm not
which
really,
caste you're born in.
I'm not doing a thing.
And
Yeah, and also caste might have
Yeah.
not been so bad to be a Shudra or anything,
Right.
but now, the toilet cleaners and so on, they're called Dalits, or Gandhi had this patronizing euphemism, Harijans,
Yeah.
well, but that's a term, I think, and Ambedkar was a Dalit. He wrote the Indian Constitution. So there's been a big movement in India to break away from caste, but
it is
I know
still
from my
alive
friends,
and well.
it is very much alive and well. And one of the terrible things that's associated with caste is dowry system and subjugation of women that goes along with it.
It is still alive and well.
It's very
The
much
students-
alive.
When I had Indian students, a lot of times they would say it made a lot of difference on where you lived, because this one woman, she was a high caste, and she said when we were in the city, there was a lot more
Fluid.
interplay. It was a lot more fluid. You went out to the countryside,
It's- Yeah.
you do not.
Also, and it's different regions, like
different
Kerala,
regions, different
Kerala's not-
regions in India.
not
it's
so bad.
But it's still.
And also back here, I
Pretty
was
much
reading a
the
book
way
about the
it
early caste system in India, the evolution. It might have been much more fluid back then.
It might
I mean,
have
this has been a long time ago,
I
right?
guess.
And not so
I mean,
rigid.
I'm sure you read, right? Isabel Wilkerson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right?
But the Buddha gets rid of caste, right? But it kind of creeps back in, doesn't
Well,
it?
right. There's a beautiful modern book about caste and how, like,
It's called Caste. Is
right,
the name
it's
of
called
it.
Caste,
Yeah.
right, by Isabella Wilkerson, which is like a beautiful exploration about the myth of race as a construct and how it's how it is a reframing of the concept of caste for the modern world,
Oh,
and who it empowers and how it empowers them, and it's not. I mean, there's. To say that someone is there and has to be born there is terrible, but also to say that, like, being born a woman in ancient India was going to be a problem, right? Like, that's true, like it was unfortunate to be born a woman in ancient India. It wasn't safe. It wasn't, and so.
unless you're a princess.
Yeah, right. Again, right. There's
Lucky
that thing, right?
princess
The
whose
American
father-
dream. There is caste mobility, but like probably not. Like you hear of a guy who somehow started a thing from nothing, but like
Some
it
of the
ain't you.
plays have the women do know Sanskrit, but but rarely.
Right.
Only the queens
Sure.
and
Gonika.
But
yeah.
again, in the context of this,
Yes. Right.
Krishna is telling him, you need to fight. He's
Right.
giving him reasons why he needs to fight.
Right.
One of the big reasons why
It's
he
you're a
needs to fight
Kshatriya.
is because of what he was born into.
Right.
And not only, he's not a baby. He's not
Right.
a young man who
Right.
hasn't done anything in his
Right.
life
Right.
at this point. He has been a warrior.
Right.
He has not, it's not like, oh, I'm 18 and I don't know what I want to do with my
Yeah,
life.
I got drafted.
And you got drafted. That's not what happened. That's
Uh-huh.
not what happened.
That's good.
He has been, not only has he been embracing being a warrior, he's the best archer.
Yeah, he's the best archer.
He's the best, he's at the top.
That's
So
right.
it's not just, oh, I don't really fit in
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think in the context of this, that's what Krishna is maybe
That seems right.
arguing.
I think that's right.
Whether or not we agree with it,
That's right.
you know.
That's right. He is, after all, arguing with Arjuna.
Right.
Yes.
He's answering the questions
He's
that
arguing
Arjuna
what he's
has posed.
presenting this,
That's right.
this
Very
argument
good.
to Arjuna.
And why, why is it your duty to fight?
Why?
You
Yeah.
see,
Yes.
because you're a kshatriya. And why are you a kshatriya? Right? Because of your past
Your guna and your karma.
guna and karma. Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I made the system, but I didn't create your guna and karma.
Right.
See,
You're
that's me.
Right.
I didn't
That
touch
was
that.
You're
You did that.
You
responsible.
did that.
Yeah.
You did that.
Right.
Both in this life and in the lives you don't remember.
Although it looks like the next verse is going to make this a little less satisfying.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, let's see.
Namam karmani lipyanti, limpanti.
Lim.
Name karma pale spriha, itimam yo abhijanati. Karma bir na sabadhyate. So, karmas, actions, do not limpanti, do not stain, do not stain, do not, what did you have?
Like from clean.
Yeah, Spanish, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
What did you
Like in
have?
Spanish, right? Limpia, limpar, to clean.
Clean, right.
Yeah.
So they don't stain.
They don't dirty me.
Name karma pale spriha. And on my part, genitive singular, may, name, it is not the case on my part, that there is longing, spriha, for pala, the fruit of actions.
Yeah.
I don't have the longing for the iti mam. Iti is like close quotes.
Uh-huh.
So
In
that's
life.
right. So who yo
Mm.
Yo.
who
Yo.
abhijanati. So the abhi makes it, sort of in overview, who thinks of me like this,
Mhm.
that person, yo. So again, it's that parallel construction. Yata tata ya sa. That person is not bound by works.
I don't understand.
That person, by thinking,
I'm not longing for the fruits.
I guess you're like shifting levels then, right?
Almost in.
Maybe abhijanati is more than just thinking. It's like,
I mean, I took it as like grok, like you don't just understand.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
You gotta,
You
it's
grasp
deep.
the whole thing.
You
It's
got
gotta
it.
be deep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess I don't know.
Evam
actions.
nyatva. Excuse me.
The actions don't stain.
The actions, look,
Me?
they don't,
Sully.
remember he earlier said, this seems to repeat an earlier line where he says, I don't have anything to gain, but I still remain in action
Right,
because I have to hold together the worlds and set a good
Yeah.
example. So again, he's saying, actions don't stain me, and I have no longing for the fruit of works. If you deeply understand me this way, you will be free from action.
Yeah.
And that is that karmic sense of karmic payback.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not just that the things he do doesn't stain him or something, but like he just said, he doesn't do any. Right? He's the eternal non-doer. Were the last words out of his mouth. So he's.
He's both a doer and a non-doer.
He's
He
both the
did
doer
say
and the-
that, but when he says actions don't befoul me, right? It sure like it kind of sounds
Yeah,
like
when
I'm
actions don't befoul me, it's like he's the doer.
Yeah.
I do all this stuff.
not, or
But it
exactly
does-
not. You know
Doesn't
what?
affect me.
You know what really helps actions from befouling you? When you don't do any actions, right? That would be the purest way to be untouched by action.
Right.
Right.
Right. But I do all this action, I'm still not, because I have the
Still
right
not.
attitude.
The eternal non-doer.
I'm the non-doer, but I do all this stuff.
He says he's both the doer and
And
the
the
non-doer.
non-doer.
I
I do
know.
all this stuff as a
Whatever that
as a
is.
play. And if you can see it like that,
This Leela.
then you
in
won't
action.
be, you won't get karmic payback.
Yeah.
So then, you'll be free from action. That means you'll be free from the stain of the action.
Right.
I mean,
You
I
won't
guess-
get, you won't get the karmic
The
payback.
blowback.
I guess also.
You're not that you don't act. You gotta. Everybody's gotta act.
Well, he said that the only action that he does in this context, in this moment, basically, is that he's the creator of the mechanism.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't,
And then he steps back.
I'm not stained by
Yeah.
action because I just created the machine. The action is the interplay of your guna and karma. I'm not doing any of that, right? So it doesn't touch me because I'm not deciding.
He's acting because he's arguing
No,
with
no.
Arjuna. He's acting.
He's
That is
acting every minute.
That is absolutely.
The Lord is
doing
acting every
every
minute,
second of the whole.
every
the whole
second,
Gita, he's acting.
even at Burger King.
Yeah.
You with the Burger
I
King.
am not the one.
I'm trying to think of the
arguing
most disgusting
Right.
restaurant I can imagine, right? One I would never go to.
I am not the
Don't
one.
even call
right.
it a restaurant.
Don't even call it a restaurant.
Right, yeah, please.
Okay.
But what if he's not the one arguing with Arjuna from his perspective? He's saying, look, Arjuna, you're having an argument with your own guna and karma. Like I'm not doing anything. When you have the guna and karma to have this experience, it will happen. I don't will a thing,
Okay.
right? I don't do anything. If you have the necessary conditions to have this experience of your friend suddenly giving you this pep talk, it'll manifest. That's the mechanism. And I set that in motion long ago. And now I just sit back. And your guna and karma creates this experience.
The part I disagree with is now I sit back.
He's not sitting back.
He's not sitting back.
So in what way then is he? Because you have to keep accounting for this non-dual.
But I
in
think
this
he's
discussion.
continuing to make
Cool.
the framework.
Cool.
Now maybe there's
Great.
some free will. I mean,
Great.
doubt.
That's fine, but you can say all of that as long as you also continue to account for him saying he's the eternal non-doer.
Okay, but that's this higher state, right?
And how does that incorporate into this exact discussion?
It's-
That's fine,
it's
but
like-
he said it, it's only been half of a second since he said
Well,
it.
look, I mean, I think when we think about transcendence,
Yes.
it's very difficult. It's like nirguna, neti neti.
Yes.
There's certain paradoxes and a certain inability for us to grasp
Yes.
utter transcendence. Nevertheless, we're giving a view where the transcendence is active in the world.
Yes.
It's sort of,
Yes.
it's not just divorced from the world.
There's no separation.
It manifests in the world,
Right.
something like that.
Right.
And that's sort of rough and ready because we can't be too precise about the nature of the transcendence.
We don't have the language for it.
We don't have the language for it. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, we can experience it in some ways. But
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think-
it.
Yeah,
And that's what the
beyond
emphasis
language.
is on. The emphasis is on, changing our consciousness, not on trying to articulate it. And I don't know, philosophers in all these different cultures have tried to, have some theology or view of the Tao or whatever. They always fall into difficulties. It's
Yeah, I think there's a sort of and it almost speaks to Sankhya in a way, right? Like a state in which you're almost sitting back and watching this, mechanistic unfolding of guna.
But there's a way of identifying with it.
Yeah, there is.
There's a way of identifying with it where you don't lose the transcendence.
Oh, that's what I'm
They're
saying.
watching.
I'm
You
saying.
can watch and act.
Well, what I'm
Yes.
saying is you're watching the actions unfold in a way in which you're not identifying yourself as the doer per se.
Yeah, good.
You're not Right.
It's just the universal forces playing themselves out.
Right, you're not making the mistake of seeing yourself as ahankara.
Yeah.
Right, and I am doing
Yeah.
it. Right, I'm watching it unfold, and in that sense, you see me acting. I don't see me acting.
Good. Yeah, I see that. That's good.
Maybe.
Okay, so yo karma bir na sabadite evam yata akvitam karma purvai api mumukshabi kuru karma eva tasmat tvam purvai purvataram kritam. So evam, in this way, nyatawa, knowing, participle, knowing in this way what has been done, the karma that has been done, purvai, I think purvai mumukshubi, by those desiring transcendence, mumukshubi, liberation, the ancient ones, purvai, do karma, perform action. Kuru is act. That's an imperative. Kuru karma. The very first line of the Bhagavad Gita is Dharma Kshetra, Kuru Kshetra, on the field of action. Or the Kurus are the bad guys, but also I think there's a pun, on the field of action. So Kuru, do action. Tasmat tvam purvai purvataram kritam. As these ancient teachers. I think that's a reference to the teachers. Often they're talked about in the Upanishads. So our ancient teachers have explained it to us, etc., as these have done. And then the next line is great. Kim karma, kim akarma iti. Kaviyo api atra mohitak. The kavis, remember the kavis, I think we talked about that last time. The kavi is the one, in the Rig Veda, the kavi is the seer sage, the shaman, who is inspired, or you might want to say who makes the point. Kavi comes to mean poet, but it's more than a poet. It's something like an inspired poet, or a vessel like Muhammad getting the Quran. A prophet, right? A kavi. So a kavi is like best translation I've seen is seer sage. So kim karma. What is karma? Kim akarma. What is akarma? What is non-action? What is action? What is action? Even the kavis are confused. Even these the ones who compose the Veda are confused. Tate karma pravakshami. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain karma to you. Yajñatva. Knowing which you will free yourself. Ashubhat. Now, I love this line because Ashubhat, Shubha means the beautiful. You will free yourself not from evil, but from the ugly. You will free yourself from the Ashubhat. And so, I don't know, I probably told you I'm working on a book about beauty and transformation through yoga of life into art. And anyway, so that's.
So this definition of ugly, it means just anything that's not pleasing to the senses.
I don't know. I don't think it hasn't been given a definition. It's going to get. We're going to get it more.
Okay.
We're going to get it more, right?
Okay.
Karmano hi api bodhavyam. Bodhavyam. That's gerundive, future passive participle, like a referendum, that which is to be voted upon. Bodhavyam, that which is to be known. For karma is that which is to be known. Bodhavyam vikarmanaha. That's distorted karma. Akarma is to be known. Non-action is to be known. Gahana, deep, mysterious, is the way of karma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is I really like this one.
Yeah.
So karma,
Deep
you
is
need
the
to know
way
about
of
action. You need to know about
Distorted
bad
action,
action,
bad action.
non-action. Deep is the way of karma.
Yeah.
And then we get some very, very, very nice verses coming up about karma yoga.
You still didn't tell me what that means.
Not there
So
yet.
anyway, good.
Ashubha. Ashubha.
So Ashubhat.
Ashubha.
So when you understand it this way, or knowing karma in this way, you will be freed from the non-beautiful.
The non-beautiful.
You will be free from the non.
So they're defining ugly as being non-beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not original to me by a long shot, but that's how Abhinava understands it. Is that when you do karma yoga, what you're trying to do is something beautiful. You're trying to, whatever, and karma yoga is any action whatsoever, but try to do it in a way that to the recipients, whoever you're doing it for, is beautiful.
It has a taste to me almost, right, of the idea of acting gracefully.
Gracefully, very good.
Right.
Gracefully.
And then what, to be freed from acting ingracefully, like without delicacy,
Yeah.
without,
Yeah.
like whatever, being an awkward, lumbering,
Yeah.
jerk.
The Padamatas of the Buddha are like that, right? The six Padamatas. Paramita.
Paramita, yeah, right, Paramita,
It's
yeah,
pa-
Paramita,
uh,
yeah, right, the perfection.
It's Padamita.
Yeah.
It's
Paramita.
E short.
Right.
Having gone to the other shore.
The far side.
They're kind of, it's a word for siddhi.
Yes.
It's a synonym for siddhi in Buddhism. And they're typically 6, sometimes they expand to 7 or 8 Padamitas.
Yeah.
And graceful action is definitely in there, right? I mean, patience, right? And what are the other ones?
It's giving, morality,
You're not
yeah,
sort of setting a good example, right?
Yeah, it's giving, patience,
Giving,
morality, joyful effort, meditation, and wisdom.
And wisdom,
Yeah.
the prajna paramita.
And then there are 4 more often said
4 more.
to relate to your disciples.
I see, right.
Yeah,
So a very similar notion.
yeah. Like give them food, throw them a party. I always forget the other
They're
4.
on the party.
Yeah, something like that. It's actually like that. Like how you tend. The 4 are usually called like how you tend to your students or something. Yeah.
The beautiful still has to do with the senses.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
The beautiful still has to do with the
Yes,
senses.
it does.
It
Well,
looks beautiful, it
yeah.
sounds beautiful, it feels
Yeah,
beautiful,
so-
it smells beautiful, whatever.
That's right.
Right.
I was just reading another version of the
Mhm.
Gita, and they were talking about the 9 openings to the body, and they all need to be attended to
I should say.
as well. So it's not just the 5 senses. It's
Ah.
all the openings in the body.
Oh, yeah, and
To be
the
cleansed and purified.
and the senses of they're the action indriyas.
Right.
They're the karma indriyas as well as the jnana indriyas.
Right.
I mean, I always think, right, like, just right, like as a yoga teacher, right, when you see someone come to like do downward dog, like the second they do down dog, you're like, oh, right? You just see something in the way, like you see how many times they've done it, You know, like you see, like some people are just like, you know, they're just like, and you're like, oh, buddy, come here, it's gonna be okay, you know. And then you see people, and you're just like, look at you, you know, like you can see that it feels good to them, and
You can tell all that. Oh no, I'm really scared
sorry.
to do downward dog in your
It's
presence.
not always that. I mean, whatever. That's just you see so many people do it.
You know, I've been doing yoga since, gosh, 20-some years now, and you know, I know I shared with Ben, I've taken some steps to become a teacher, so when I'm in class now, I'll notice, and especially because I do some yoga at a club, and I'm like, are you not going to correct that posture? You know? From one to the other, you know? I mean, they're starting to do more, but I felt, especially post-COVID, people were not talking or touching or saying anything at all.
I know it's a bummer.
Yeah. But I feel like there's some structure and some awareness, body awareness, and presence of who you are that's coming back into, at least, you know, in the club yoga. So I'm feeling better about it.
Yeah. Right.
But I know what you're saying, because I struggle with it too, and I'm like, I'm on my mat, I'm staying here.
That's what you're supposed to do. It's very difficult though, it is very difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Stay on your mat,
Right.
unless I'm teaching, you know, on your mat.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm doing
But
those
I'm
things.
like, I've always felt very awkward as a yogi. Like I feel more grace in my poses over time, right? And I know how to go looking for that. But like, I mean, I have a very awkward down dog, frankly, you know? And I've learned to just like bend my knees way more than other people and like go looking for that length in the spine in a way that like my body type has to access in a totally different way than other people need to find, you know, and that's taken me
A while.
it is, or rather I should say it's continuing
Still,
to take me
yeah,
some time.
It's always evolving.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, I have this big hump in my, you know, I'm just like, oh, you know, right? And then for me to find length, it's just like, oh, you know, it's like mine is very different from other people's, right? But when you just see someone like thriving in a pose, right? And it's beautiful, it's splendid, it's shining, right? As opposed to like lumbering.
Well, I don't know if you guys have watched the Olympics at all, but the women's pole vaulting show.
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, oh my God, and you could tell the difference.
Yeah.
Who was gonna win with that last, she just didn't have it, the American just mentally didn't have it, I could see it. And
A lot of it is mental.
I know.
I mean, of course you have to have
well,
a
they were
physical
at
ability,
it
but.
they were at it for 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours. 3 hours.
Competing with each other, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, but it made a difference because she was fully present in her body and had the grace and confidence. She knew she could do it. Who was it again? Was it British?
She
No,
was Australian.
Australian.
And they had tied for gold in the,
I know.
at the World Championships.
Right.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It was beautiful.
But the best student I've ever seen, I mean, and I have students that do crazy stuff that I'll never be able to do. That I'll never be able to do. They're doing crazy stuff. And I help them with it, like nothing. Like, okay, let's just do this. All right, let's just go up into a handstand. Okay, let's just go. Now, let's go back into a pin. Okay, there you go. And I just tell them like very matter-of-factly, we're just gonna do this, and I just go on. But this woman was in a class that, I wasn't teaching her. It was in a class that I was in, and she did every single pose with complete intention. And she couldn't even get, I mean, I can go down like this, wow, no problem, right? She's like this. But her back was straight. Her focus was where it was supposed to be. Her arms were here. It was wonderful to watch her. She was blocky, she was chubby, it didn't matter. She was beautiful because of her intention.
So see, there you are.
So you're obviously very beautiful with your intention.
So,
I'm working on it.
Yeah. That's beauty. So that's what I was trying to
Have
get.
you ever
What is
been to a
ugly?
class?
What is beauty?
He's the greatest yoga teacher. He's so enthusiastic. He pushes you to your limit.
If
I
that's
think
what makes the greatest yoga
Do you do
teacher,
any
I like
non-hot yoga?
mostly I don't at the
Yeah,
moment.
I don't like hot yoga.
I
With
understand.
menopause, I can't do the hot yoga.
it's easier to, stiffness goes away in the heat.
Oh, no, I like warm yoga.
No.
Okay, it's the hot yoga.
Uh-huh.
I
Too much toughest.
I'm pitta and kapha, so the pitta is like a little bit intense. So, thank you.
You don't do hot yoga Ashtanga, do you?
Oh, God.
No.
Ashtanga, we give our muscles 104 degrees warm, which is what
I
the
see.
yoga room is, by
That's-
doing vinyasa and by
I see,
using
sure.
pranayama.
You know,
Okay.
it's funny because the woman that I like a lot at this program, Yal, she actually raises the temperature to 72, and depending on how many bodies are in there, I was
They can get warm.
I was in front of the thermostat on Saturday. It went up 5 degrees just because of
The people.
the people in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was intense.
It's usually in the 80s
Yeah.
in my wet class in there now.
Right. Toughest.
Because we're working.
Well, I'm really happy because I had fractured my arm earlier in the year and I hadn't been able to do yoga, and so I feel like I'm coming back again. My body's feeling good. I really I'm
Yay.
so happy.
Good.
Not that I didn't do anything, but I couldn't do a lot because there's a lot you can't do if you don't have your hand.
I don't think so. And you come back slowly.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So your down dog is beautiful after all.
I still feel like a lumbering beast.
There was a pose I used to call a
That's
hippo
like-
in a tutu pose.
A hippo in a tutu pose.
Yeah, because that's how I felt when I was doing the pose. It's a hippo in a tutu.
That's from Fantasia, right?
It's a crazy pose. You start the pose. We're done, right?
Okay, yes.
You start the pose with your foot into half lotus.
Right.
Okay?
Shanti, shanti, shanti.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shanti,
Shanti. Sorry, after we're done. So you go into the pose. Okay, so do this. Go down. You know,